Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1, Unit 1 in class review. Remember to show all your work and to write your final answers on the lines. The first set of directions say to solve, give exact answers, which means to reduce all your fractions and no decimals. Remember, equations can have one solution, no solution, or infinite solutions, okay? So we can have multiple different answers. All right, let's go ahead and look at problem number 1. So whenever we're solving, we're going to draw the line down the middle, and we're going to do the reverse order of operations. So we have a positive 7 right there. To get rid of a positive 7, we subtract. Negative 18 minus 7 is negative 25 equals, and remember, everything comes down. That's a negative x. So we have to divide by negative 1. Those cancel, and we get 25 equals x. So our answer is 25. All right, number 2. So we're going to do the same thing. We are solving for y. So the first thing we get rid of is addition or subtraction. The negative 3/8 y comes down, and negative 9 minus 9 is negative 18. Okay? Now, to get rid of a fraction, we need to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay? So those cancel, and since we get to use a calculator over here, let's go ahead and turn it on. I am multiplying negative 18 times my calculator. I have to put it as of inside the parentheses, negative 8 over 3, and we get 48. So y equals 48. And I write my final answer on the line. All right, number 3. Okay, there's our variable up there. Once again, we want to get rid of addition or subtraction first, so I'm getting rid of subtraction with addition. The w over 3 comes down, and negative 1 plus 11 is 10. To get the w all by itself, it's being divided, so the opposite of division is multiplication. And then we're left with w equaling 30. Okay, we've got a lot of information, so I'm just going to draw the line so I can see the two sides. And now on the left side, we've got a lot of information, okay? And remember, the first thing we have to do is combine like terms, okay? So 3 plus 4 is 7. Let's do the easy thing first, okay? Now you have negative 2.7 and negative 5.8. When we combine those together, we get negative 7.8 m, and that was plus 7. And if you need to use your calculator, guys, just do negative 2.7. You're minusing not 5.7, 5.1, and that's where negative 7.8 comes from. Okay, so to get this variable by itself, we're going to subtract 7 to both sides. We get negative 7.8 m equaling 23.4. Okay, just since we're doing decimals, I'm going to double check my work because I did that in my head. Good. And then the last step would be to divide by negative 7.8. So divide by negative 7.8. And our grand total, m equals, divided by negative 7.8, negative 3. So all of that work, and we get a nice easy answer. All right, number 5. So the first thing we're going to do with number 5 is we're going to distribute. Okay, so we have negative 5 over 3 times n, and then we've got negative 5 over 3 times, that's a positive 6, oops, and we get negative 10. So negative 5 over 3 minus 10 minus 4 equals 11. We're going to combine our like terms right there. Negative 4 minus 4 gives us negative 14 equaling 11. There's that line right there, guys. So we're going to add to cancel subtraction. Negative 5 over 3n equals 14 plus 11 is, let's actually make that look like a 2, 25. And then we've got a fraction. To get rid of the fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. Those cancel. We've got 25 times negative 3 over 5. And we get negative 15. So n equals negative 15. All right, the long one. So on both sides, we have to distribute. On the left side, negative 7 times 8 is negative 56. Negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21x minus 14x equals, I don't have to do anything with the 2x, but I do have to distribute that 5. So we get positive 5x minus 30. Okay. I'm going to combine my like terms on both sides. I like to put my x first, so 21 minus 14 is 7x minus 56, and then we get 7x minus 30. I want to get our variables on one side, so I'm going to subtract 7x, and that cancels out. And when I subtract the 7x, that cancels out too, and we're left with negative 56 equals negative 30, which I know is not true. Okay, so when we get two things that don't equal each other, we know that there is no solution. All right. This says to solve the following by using proportions. Label 9 through 10 with correct units. Okay, so what we need to remember is we have to cross multiply. So we have 3 times y plus 4 equaling 5 times y minus 2. Okay, so we distribute, we get 3y plus 12 equals 5y minus 10 because we had to distribute and multiply right there. I want my variables on one side. So I'm going to subtract the smaller one. Minus 3y minus 3y. And we get 12 equaling 2y minus 10. Okay, so, gotta think right here. Sorry, guys. Add 10 to both sides. I had a brain fart. And we get 22 equals 2y. To get the y all by itself, we have to divide by 2. And then 22 divided by 2 is 11. So we get 11 as our answer. Number 8, we're going to do the same thing, okay? Cross multiply. We have 7 times 2w minus 3 equals, then we have negative 4 times w plus 3. So on the left side, 7 times 2 is 14w minus 21 equals negative 4w minus 12. Okay, so we want to get our variables on one side, so I'm going to add the 4 because I want to get rid of the smaller w. And we have 18w minus 21 equals negative 12. I'm going to add 21 to both sides, and I have negative 12 plus 21, which gives me positive 9, and then divide both by 18. Remember, you always want to reduce, so we get y equals 1/2. Remember, no decimals. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So it tells us that the ratios of chickens to horses on a farm is 5 to 2. Okay, remember that that was chickens to horses, and that was 5 to 2. If there are 12 horses, and we said that the horses go on the bottom, how many chickens are there? Okay, so let's just do proportions. We have 5 times 12 equals 2x. So 5 times 12 is 60 equals 2x. Divide both by 2, and we get x equals 60 divided by 2, 30. And when we write our final answer over here, we want to know what are we talking about, and we're talking about chickens. All right, number 10, it says Jolie can run 4 miles in 33.2 minutes. So they want to know how many minutes does it take to run 1 mile. So we've got miles over minutes, okay? And they say 4 miles equals 33.2. And I want to know 1. So I'm looking for the minutes, and minutes are on the bottom, okay? So cross multiply, we get 4x equaling 1 times 33.2 is 33.2. So divide both sides by 4 because we want to get the x by itself. And we get x equals, let's do this together, 33.2 divided by 4 equals 8.3. So we're talking about 8.3 minutes, okay? Remember, we have to label our answers. Okay. It says solve for the specific variable. So I want the y by itself. This should look very familiar, guys. Okay, to get the y by itself, we're going to subtract the 9x. Okay, negative 18 and negative 9 are not like terms, so we cannot combine them. We get negative 9x minus 18. And to get the y by itself, we have to divide everything by negative 3. So we get y equals negative 9 divided by negative 3 is 3x. And negative 18 divided by negative 3 is positive 6. So we get y equals 3x plus 6. Okay, number 12. We're solving for m. This one's a little bit more tricky. Okay, so I'm going to draw the line so I can see what we're doing. And the operation between all of these is multiplication. So to get rid of multiplication, I'm going to divide. I want to divide the 9 to get the 9 out of there. and I want to divide the n to the fourth, so that cancels out, okay? So over here, we're dividing by 9n to the fourth. So when we look at this, 3x over 9n to the fourth equals m. Can I cancel or reduce anything? And the answer is yes, okay? 3 over 9 is the same thing as 1/3. So when we're done, we get m equals 1x over 3n to the fourth. All right, so when we solve the absolute value equations, remember absolute value equations can have 1, 2, or no solutions. When we have one solution, we're left with the absolute value inside, and that equals 0. That's when we only have one answer. When we have the absolute value and it equals a positive number, remember any positive number, it has two solutions. But then when we're left with the absolute value with a negative number, that's when it's no solutions, okay? And remember, it's got to be just the absolute value. All that other junk that's out there, we have to do the reverse order of operations SADMEP to get rid of it, okay? And we're going to have some examples below. All right, number 13. Here's our absolute value. I want to get rid of all of that junk, okay? So we have positive right here, and then multiplication. So the first thing that we're going to do is that's a positive 8. We're going to subtract the 8 to the other side, and then we're left with 2w minus 4 equaling 2. Okay, because 10 minus 8 is 2. Now, the next thing, we got multiplication. To get rid of multiplication, we need to divide by 2, divide by 2, and we're left with w minus 4 equaling 1. Okay, that is a positive number, so we're going to have two answers. Okay, we go w minus 4 equals a positive 1, and w minus 4 equals a negative 1. Remember that what's inside stays exactly the same, but the 1, it can either be positive or negative, okay? So now all we have to do is solve. When we add 4 to both sides, we get w equals 3, or on the right side, when we add 4 to both sides, we get w equals 5, okay? So our answers are 3 or 5. All right, number 14. Same thing, we got two operations. We got multiplication and subtraction. So we're going to get rid of the subtraction first by adding, and we're left with negative 4 equals 2y plus 1 equals 20, okay? And remember, that's multiplication, so to get rid of multiplication, we have to divide. I'm dividing both sides by negative 4, and we're left with 2y plus 1 equals 20 divided by negative 4. Well, that is a negative 5. And can an absolute value equal a negative number? No, it can't, okay? So the answer, no solution. Just in case you forgot what that symbol meant. Okay, two more. Now, remember, when it equals 0, we're going to have one answer. So all we have to do is solve 3m minus 6 equals 0. Draw the line down. add 6 to both sides. We get 3m equals 6 divided by 3, and we get m equals 2. All right, and number 16. Number 16 is nice because the only thing outside of that absolute value is the fraction. And you can't just be like, well, it's negative, so it's going to be no solution. Remember, we have to get the absolute value by itself. Okay? So to get the absolute value by itself, we have to multiply by the reciprocal, which is negative 2/5. So I need to multiply negative 15 by negative 2/5. And then we're left with the absolute value of x minus 4 equaling, we're doing negative 15 times negative 2 divided by 5. And we get a positive 6. Okay, since it's a positive number, we're going to have two answers. Remember that x minus 4 stays the same. And we have it a negative 6 and a positive 6. Okay, so we're going to add 4 to both sides. And then we get x equals negative 2. And then when we add 4 to the right side, 6 plus 4, 10. So our answers are negative 2 and 10. Okay. Well, guys, that's it for Algebra 1, Unit 1 final review. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Thanks for watching.